dropping a couch vlog. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before I start my rounds of working out and taking care of some stuff at the house, I did want to speak about something real quick. Nobody tells you, remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys. Cherish your loved ones, love your loved ones, pray for your loved ones. Let go of hurt, let go of dark stuff, let go of a lot of things, man. Let go and let God, for sure. Make sure you subscribe to the Taking Home podcast where I talk about professional wrestling topics and I put in my matches as classic alpha professional wrestler of 14 years. Grateful for that. I put in my matches as classic alpha, like I said, and I also talk about topics like I'm doing now in this live. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. And despite everything that is going on and hectic stuff that's going on over there with family and stuff, still a great company, still great wrestlers and stuff like that. Just trying to hold everything together at this point. All of the matches and everything that has happened at Big Business is available on the YouTube channel C3 Ultimate Wrestling. The good and the bad, all of it. We don't hide stuff, or I don't hide stuff or anything like that. You see it, it happened. Um, get ready for May 23rd, which is our 20th show in C3 history. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite. They're $5 off. There'll be $5 more at the door. Dyer, Indiana, Harold's private venue. It's going to be a dope show. One second, y'all. Sorry about that. I had to make sure that something was taken care of. Please forgive me. I hate improper etiquette. What's going on? Shooting from the script. What up? What up, Kev? What up, Kev? What up, Kev? Hope everything's going well with you. I actually have to talk to you in a little bit. I'm gonna message you. But long story short, I wanted to talk about Obafemi. Obafemi since last Monday, heck, even since his debut, has been very, very special to watch. I think I've enjoyed his stuff in NXT. I wasn't watching NXT like that, but I would watch NXT for or the matches for Oba, for Trick, for Javon, for Ricky, for Jada, and stuff like that. Thea's pretty dope. Small stuff, but I always felt like Oba was definitely the one. Me being a wrestler that is deemed a heavyweight wrestler, to just see one and to see one that looks just so dope, just run through stuff. I mean, I've watched that segment with Brock Lesnar more than a couple of times. I have. My baby girl loves Oba. She does the Oba walk and everything. I think she loves him a little too much. Can Oba fight? I'm sure he can. Sure. Whatever. But still, like Oba is definitely one of those guys. He's going to go against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. This is honestly a way to buy tickets and make people want to buy it, especially of how they showed him and showed his power and his strength. You can look at a lot of his matches. You can look at him beat up a wrestler with another wrestler. You can see him pick up two wrestlers. You can see him do a whole bunch of stuff as a wrestler. So like I said, I know that WrestleMania, they are trying to make tickets cheaper now and 30% off and all of this other stuff. Stuff we've talked about. But still, there's a few people that are upset with Oba. So some people are upset with some of his answers to Stephanie McMahon's podcast. What is the name of her podcast? Stephanie McMahon, she has a podcast that is on WWE. She has a co-host. I don't know who the co-host is. Shout out to her. Shout out to them. But yeah, let us pause in the door. Basically, that's what they're trying to do. And the low key, I'm probably going to make a video about that. Maybe we should talk about it together, me, you, and even Sean, if possible. But what is the name of her podcast? 1 second, y'all. I got my computer by me. But Oprah was on it, and she was on it with the co-host. So, what's your story? That's what it is. Finish the story by Cody. What's your story by Stephanie McMahon? But still, she interviewed Oprah. She interviewed Roy. She's interviewed mixed people, a lot of people of different stuff. She's done this before. The way she does it, I'll say this real quick. It's decent. It's decent. I was looking at the Undertaker's podcast, but then I haven't watched it. I ain't watched much of it, but I was watching it with his co-host Matt. With Michelle, shout out to Michelle. I don't know. I look at the clips and I'll be like, whatever. But still. So she interviewed Oba. So the main thing that I see that people giving Oba pushback on is Stephanie McMahon asked him, who does he look up to? Not saying even look up to, like, who inspired you to dream big? He said Goggins, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk. So I don't know if everybody else listened to the whole interview or majority of the interview. But as soon as like that came out and people showed it and was showing clips and edits and photoshops, oh, he's MAGA. Oh, he's a Republican. Oh, he got to be a conservative. He got to do this. Oh my gosh, he don't represent us black folk. How dare he? How dare he? Because he looks up to people that ain't black. He inspired to dream big because he ain't black. So no, he's not avenging us. You remember when T.I. character was Rashad and ATL took that bracelet, took that necklace from Nunu? That's what a lot of some people did in a black IWC. That's what some did. They was like, you know what? You're not going to avenge us. Give it back. Come on, guys. See, I don't like rage bait, and I don't like when people move goalposts when it comes to certain things, right? Yes, the Nunu snatch. They took the pride of black wrestlers and they took it from them. No, you don't get to avenge us even if you beat Brock Lesnar. They took it from this man. So now I'm gonna say this respectfully. If you listened to the interview on most of it, he also talked about how his parents motivated him to be a perfectionist. He said his mother showed him how to love. His dad was strict, and that's something that he's also going to bring onto his kids, because he said that a lot of people try to raise their kids differently from how they were raised. But he said his parents basically did a good job, even though he didn't like certain aspects. So he's going to show them to teach his kids how to do certain things. That's very rare to hear a lot of people say, honestly. I'm just going to say that is 100% truth. He talked about how his pastor, because he's a man of God, his pastor motivated him too, when he looked up to him as well. And when he had an issue with his father, his pastor talked to him about honoring his father and stuff like that. He talked about when he was younger, how he used to draw, and they showed clips and pictures of him drawing and stuff. He drew a picture of his mother, and his mother was proud of it. He was so smart. He was intelligent. He wasn't just a jock. He was an intelligent athlete. He was doing stuff. He was inspired. He was inspired by Terry Taylor, a former wrestler that wrestled for WWE and WCW and stuff. He did an impersonation. He was inspired by a lot of people. But for some reason, when he says he looks up to these three people, y'all took the spirit of the Black Panther and stripped away. Y'all took it away from a Nigerian. From Africa, a Nigerian. Listen. if you know, because people love to be historic, they love to talk about this and black magic, this and that's fine. People love to talk about that. But if you do know a lot of the history that y'all say y'all do, a lot of African parents are more conservative. They're more religious. They're more on Christian things. There are mixes of other spiritual walks and stuff like that. But now, yes, you can't sit here and say people of the Caucasian ethnicity just taught them that. I can understand being mad and how people use it to manipulate. Because when something is very, very powerful, people will use it for their own gain. And I'm even saying the IWC does the same thing. Y'all use, instead of listening to the man, y'all are like, oh, well, they manipulated him to say who he look up to, but not listening to the fact that he said his parents motivated him, the pastor motivated him, the guy from NXT, Matt Bloom, who's was Tensai and Albert, he said those guys were okay, but three guys that one motivated him to dream big. That's where we saying he not black or he just MAGA. Come on, y'all. Like, to me, it gets frustrating, and this is why I love being in the black community. Good Lord put me in here. But I can also say I love being somebody that can think for myself as an individual. I can sit here, I can side eye with my people at the cookout and say, hey, look, they wilding for this. We know what this meant. But then at the same time, I can sit there and say, hey, it sucks that we was treated, and some people are still getting treated a certain way. However, I want to hear more details and stuff like that before I cast judgment. For us as people to get upset because we don't like when people force us and try to tell us how to feel about somebody, to actually turn around and try to force people within our community to try to act a certain way and treat somebody. I'm sorry I'm loud, but it's just frustrating because I'm like listening to video after video. I'm looking at posts and stuff and all of that. Oh, he can't avenge us because of this and that. What? Get up out of here. Come on, man. Yeah, yes, if you listen to it, he can motivate you. Mind you, he's only 27. With so much intelligence, with so much artistry and stuff like that. I think the man is going to continue to pile up a steel, and he's going to have a skyscraper of knowledge and intelligence. And to sit here and be like, oh, well, they manipulated him to say those three names, stop it. Has WWE done stuff like that before? Yes. But still, honestly, I'm going to be honest. It's going to be my assumption. If they really manipulated and put some stuff together, he probably wouldn't have talked about God and his pastor and stuff. Let's be honest. I mean, Triple H calls himself the King of Kings and all that. And that's another thing. Some people was upset that that Oba said one of the wrestlers that he looked up to was Triple H. Listen, I've talked about Paul. I've talked about him stuff. I talked about how he's not a good mouthpiece for WWE. I've talked about all of that stuff. I don't think that he should have been a 13-time champion. I don't think he should have. But to take away and act like people didn't study his heel work and how to get, over as a heel and how people used to hate him, we're not going to take away that from Triple H. Listen, I can sit here and say I don't like how he running the company, but he was a good wrestler. He did what he was supposed to do for the most part. Should he have let Booker win? Of course. Of course. But still, we're not about to sit here and act like just because Paul is acting like his daddy, because he his daddy's son. Let's not try to take away some of the historic moments. Jean Jacket Triple H. We're not going to take away none of that stuff. To sit here and say he does not contribute to the business is crazy. And that's the bad part, is that some people are going to sit here and say, oh, well, you just capping. No, I'm not. Triple H does motivate people. And even if you look at Oba has a similar muscular build to Triple H. Sometimes people look up to guys that work out and they try to have the same build. Oba has a similar build. He does. So to me, to sit here and be like, oh, well, they just told him to say it. Maybe he did say it to like get us, a few smirks and some brownie points. But still, maybe he actually looks up to the guy. Come on, man. His American accent. Yes, his American accent. When he did it on NXT, it was also funny. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do whatever it is. And I was meant for this. I forgot the promo, but the promo was good. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, thank you, Kev. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, we love to try to come together and be like, we were oppressed and we went through a whole bunch of stuff. And like I said, I'm not trying to make light of it, but we are a lot freer and have a lot more opportunities to do a lot of things now. And then you do look even in the history of certain things of that spirituality of Christ and God and stuff. That was way before them people came over. Did they turn it around and use it? Yes, because anything with power, a gun, a sword, manipulation, your mind, people can use it to have alternative motives. Evil motives and stuff. And honestly, it's a trick of the enemy and it works. But to sit here and not realize that a lot of people over there are conservative AF is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. And I don't know if Joe is a conservative, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has one of the, if not the top podcasts. And you know who watches him? Black people, white people, Hispanic, straight, gays. And so many people that look at Joe Rogan's podcast. The problem was Joe Rogan said something, and that made everybody mad. Just like Oba said something to make everybody mad. And I want to reiterate, I'm not saying everybody as in 100%, just some people. I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with everybody that's on the internet and stuff like that. But can we call Cap? Can we call Captain Crunch? Can we call Captain America? Crunch charges me Captain. Like, can we call him Kaepernick? Caps lock. Can we call a cap when it's cap? Can we call the top hat when it's here? The fitted, the fedora, the bowling hat, the Kango. Can we call a cap when it's a cap? Just because he didn't say what you liked doesn't mean that he's a bad person or let alone MAGA. Now, the assumption is he is conservative. And if he is, so what? For people to sit here and say, keep politics out of wrestling, why y'all bringing politics into wrestling? Hey Siri, play What's Going On. My brother, it's so many of y'all trying. Like, what are y'all doing? Come on, man. It's horrible. Yeah, yellow bro. It's like a young guy, 27. When we talk about these YNs and stuff, 27 years old, bang, bang, shot, murder, wanna die at a young age. Even though he's in WWE, young age, 27, YN, rap, bang, bang, shot. Don't want to do college, don't want to do certain things, like all of this stuff. This guy did great in college. He wasn't just there for just the athleticism. He drew. He was drawing. He was a perfectionist. He wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff, looking up to people, trying to inspire people and stuff. And even, I'll say this, Stephanie was a great host to the podcast, speaking of quotes, speaking about Maya Angelou and stuff like that, and quotes that she had even in her phone that she keeps in her phone. Shout out to her for that. Shout out to her for that, because that even shows that she has an identity outside of wrestling. She's not just Vince McMahon's daughter. She's not just Paul's wife. She's her own self. And I do think that podcast was pretty dope. Will I be watching it from now? Nah, man, there's too many podcasts. I'm trying to take care of my stuff. But still, it's crazy. Triple H, the wrestler, is one of the greats. Yes, bro. Why are we retconning Triple H's wrestling career? Like I said, Booker should have won. I don't think he should have won that many titles. Honestly, I don't think he should have won that many titles. But to sit here and try to act like Triple H wasn't that dude at one point. Like, when you think of The Rock, I think of Triple H. Stone Cold, Triple H. Undertaker, Triple H. All of these guys, we're not going to sit here. Now, can we say that Triple H was probably the least favorite? Sure, you can have that. But to sit here and not act like we wasn't doing the suck it cross chops from that stuff, or we weren't trying to pedigree somebody, or we weren't trying to spit the water out, or when we talk about his return with the jean jacket. Like, when we sit here and act like Triple H didn't inspire a generation of people, that's when I have a problem. Yes, not a good promoter, COO in my opinion. Not a great mouthpiece. Like, he does not do a great job. Nick may be better. Somebody else may be better for that. I get on Tony. I get on Triple H. Oh, and then going even back to Oba, to sit here and just be like, oh, well, he's just capping for his company. Is he the first one? We literally talked about Ricochet, right? Ricochet, outside of what he said, and people are mad about, rightfully so, this man was capping and supporting AEW and stuff. Heck, to the point when somebody said anything positive about WWE, Ricochet said something negative. So what? A lot of people are not going to go online and bash their job. They're just not going to do that. So why are we mad at Oba for doing what everybody else is doing? Like, I'm still looking forward. I'm not saying Noba to Oba because he was motivated by so many people, but people were so quick to make a video or to not look at the interview and be like, hey, you look like us, so you go through similar struggles. Some people don't go through similar struggles just because they look like us, and that's the truth. And I know a lot of people feel a certain way when people say that, but sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes they were around a great community. Sometimes, people did change and they forgave them. Sometimes they are at peace. Sometimes we are millionaires. We are Oscar winners. We are champions. We are a lot of stuff. And yes, we are progressing from what we were or how we were treated to what we can be and stuff like that. It's not, some people are going to die evil, and that's just the truth. It's unfortunate, but some people are going to die evil. I pray they don't, but it's just a fact. It's just a reality. To sit here and just be like, oh, well, I don't like him because of who we look up to, but didn't hear the part about his family and honoring them and this pastor and stuff like that. And another thing that he said that I liked, he was like, sometimes you do have to change to get to where you want to be. Sort of like what a lot of people have said, like, in order for you to change, you're going to have to be in uncomfortable territories. Because he was saying you may have to change. Better yet, you may have to evolve from what you're doing to get to where you want to be. Motivational AF. Why are y'all just harped on a few seconds of him being inspired to dream big by three guys? Horrible. Horrible. Rogan had Trump on a few times. He leans conservative, but not too crazy. But you get what I'm saying? Like, most people, for the most part, they respect Rogan as an individual. So why can't Oba be an individual? Why can't other people do it? It's so easy to get online and say, I don't like this president, I don't like this vice president, I don't like this rep, and stuff like that. But if you have an opportunity to bring them on, you're going to have some kind of decorum because it's a podcast. And that's the problem. You have to have some kind of decency as a podcaster and as an interviewer. Even if you disagree with their ideologies and their policies and stuff like that, you can't just straight bring people on and F you, F this and that. You're a piece of crap and going after your family. You can't do none of that stuff. You can't. Like a lot of y'all going after everybody that's threatening Ricochet and Samantha. And like I said, they wild for that too. Leave them people alone. Just like you can't expect people to do that stuff, which is weird because the people who hate the president, they act just like him. Oh, I don't like you because of this and that, and I'm going to post about it, which is weird. It's the weird thing, but I ain't trying to bring it more political than what it already is, but still, I'm not saying Noba to Oba. Yeah, Steph is cool. Steph is definitely a great podcaster and stuff, and I do think she does great questions to bring them in. A little different from Undertaker. Like, Undertaker will speak for like 20 minutes about a story that happened, and somebody be trying. I'll be glad when people make his stories like a YouTube short, because Taker, man, like, bro, Mark, what you doing, bro? If Austin is Jordan, Rock is Kobe, Triple H is LeBron. Honestly, Kev, that's a great comparison. Like we respect Jordan. We respect Kobe. People say Kobe's not Jordan, but then, they say Kobe made his own lane, right? He's going to put up there. LeBron, Triple H. Hey, you're great. You can break records. You can do a whole bunch of stuff because he's won the title more than them and stuff. But we could talk about like scoring records and all that, not rings. But we can talk about scoring records and stuff. But still, people are like, hey, I have an asterisk by you because of how you changed the game with, marrying Vince's daughter and being the COO and also, being behind the scenes of a lot of stuff. And some people get let go or some people getting de-pushed, the Booker T situation. That is a great comparison, bro. That is definitely a great comparison. But what's going on, Inya? What's going on? Bacon grease. But still, I think to me as an adult, I'm 36. I'm gonna be 37 next month. See, I'm old already. My mind's slipping. I'm already 40. Next month, I'll be 37. I know Kev's birthday is close to mine too. I forgot, but still, shout out to Kev. Shout out to Tauruses. Not a zodiac person, so everybody calm down. But still, just to be mad because he didn't say he looked up to Mark Henry or black wrestlers and stuff. Like, to me, who knows? Maybe he did. Maybe they edited it out. Who knows? But to sit here and just be like, that's the only thing that you got from that interview? That's the only thing you got? Not his career and athletic, his academic career, his drawing, who he looked up to, what he want to do in the future, want to wrestle till he's 50. Come on, man. Like, come on, man. His upbringing, like, none of that. I think people find things to get mad at. Just honestly, yes. At this point, I want to be mad, and I want you to be mad because I'm mad. And I hate to say it, for us, a lot of us fall for that okie doke. And I always say this. I think sometimes when you don't do research or when you don't look for stuff, and sometimes when you don't think for yourself, think about a hole, right? A hole could be 10 feet deep, right? But it can have nothing in it. And that's how I feel like some takes are when it comes to certain things. Yeah, you're trying to be deep. Oh, it's deep, but it's nothing in there. It's nothing. It holds no substance. It's just nothing in there. And I think that's what it is when it comes to certain things in certain situations. To be mad at Femi instead of not like congratulating him for like being at a young age, being at a WrestleMania, going against one of the final bosses is crazy. It's crazy. It's like to sit here and be like, oh, he's 27, but he's MAGA, instead of, oh, he's 27 and he's going against one of the final bosses, a guy who rarely loses, a guy who rarely loses in wrestling and has the potential. And to, instead of being behind him, no, we don't like that he was inspired by three guys that might be cool with Trump. Mind you, Elon and Trump, they like frenemies. They cool one minute, then they not. But still, the same people that said they don't want to go through censorship and stuff like that. And then when Elon took censorship away from X, y'all still mad. It's just like y'all wanted the censorship to be gone, and it's gone. And I'm not sitting here just saying everything that they do is right, but I'm just saying it's just weird how people can spin the narrative. I'm just saying that spin the narrative. Y'all are spinning the Morgan Freeman of the world because he's a great narrator. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all wilding, man, and it's like it's. I'm not saying no, but to over. You got a problem with it, you just got a problem. I ain't got a problem with it. Hey, this comes from somebody that's not a big fan of certain wrestlers, and I don't mind saying it, but I can say it respectfully. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and just be like, oh my gosh, he didn't say the wrestler or the people that I wanted to say. Oh, you're giving MAGA energy. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I hope he wins. I truly hope he wins. If this is Brock Lesnar's way out the door, because I do feel like Brock and Randy's going to be out soon. It may not be this year, maybe next year, but they're going to be out soon. I think Brock has come back because he wanted to go out on better terms than being suspended and let go because of the Janelle Grant situation. And hey, you shouldn't cheat on nobody. So I will get on Brock for that. Should have just stayed home and, Vince manipulating him to stay and wrestle longer than, he wanted to. Yes, but still, If this is his way to ride out to the sunset, I'm fine with it. I'm definitely fine with it. Oba is believable. Oba can talk on the microphone. The ruler, the crowd is behind him. The crowd is behind him. Oba, Oba. My daughter stops everything that she's doing. Can that man fight? Stops everything that she's doing to look at Oba. Soon as she hears the doom, 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 she is already at the TV. Looks at Oba, leaves. Can Oba fight? Can Oba Femi fight? I'm sure he can. Still, I'm just saying. The only time I see my little baby get excited for a wrestler coming out is me. But still, 30 minutes of me upset. Not even upset. Disappointed, I guess. I think disappointed is better. 30 minutes. I'm on here 30 minutes being upset because we have a guy that speaks eloquently, very professional, dresses professional, and stuff like that. The crowd can get behind him. Any race, any ethnicity, the Oba strut. They're chanting the Oba. They chant his name like we used to do Goldberg when we was kids. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Oba is the Goldberg of this generation. I'm not saying that at all. But you get what I'm saying when I put them two together in comparison. Or the Brock of this generation. Matter of fact, the Oba of this generation. I'll do one step further. And we're going to sit here and just try to pee it away because 3 people? Oh, you don't care for black folks. Are you kidding me? Ain't his parents black? Don't he care for his parents? Ain't he trying to honor his parents? His pastor, I'm sure, is black. Come on, man. Because he has people that you don't agree with. Like, and that's my problem, right? Like, I can sit here and talk to somebody that can... you guys know I follow Christ, right? I walk with Christ, meaning we good. I love Christ. But I have people that I'm cool with that are atheists or other spiritual walks and stuff like that. And I still got love for them, and I pray for them every day. I don't like their ideology, and I'm sure they don't like mine, but still, I feel like I know the truth. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to just write you off and wish the worst upon you. Like, to sit here and try to take away the Avenged Black Wrestlers thing is horrible in my opinion. Because one, I'm not harping on it. I like it. I think it's cool. But at the same time, to sit here and just be like that, like y'all putting him in the Rock category and he never, y'all putting this man in the Rock category and Oba just got here. Oba just got here. And y'all try to put him in the Rock category of black folk. Oh, well, he's only black when it's convenience. That's unfair to Oba, in my opinion. That's definitely unfair to Oba when y'all sit here and y'all, not all y'all, but y'all try to sit here and say, oh, well, basically, you conservative and how dare you? You should think how we think and you should support how we support. Don't get me started on the Rock and this. But you get what I'm saying when I say that, Kev. I'm not putting them in that. Because, like I said, people's reserve about The Rock and his representation of black culture, that's definitely something that people could talk about all day. Can we sit here and say he has black in him and he's black? Sure. Can we sit here and say that he represents us well? We can say he don't. He represents more of what he was raised as. And that's fine to a certain extent. But it's like many of us loved him when he had the black machismo. We know that. He tried to come out and do a tribute to his family and Rocky Maivia and stuff. He tried it and it didn't work. When he got the fade, the high top fade, the Versace shirts that looked like a black athlete, that's when everybody loved The Rock. And he shoehorned everything else with that. And I'm not even mad at that. It's just when people try to sit here and try to understand that we were more happy at the time for Kofi winning the WWE Championship and saying he's fully black compared to The Rock because The Rock is mixed. Now, it's unfair to The Rock to a certain extent because The Rock didn't choose his parents. His parents chose to have him, and that's what the good Lord decided his gender. But still, we know what we mean when we say that. That's why I like a lot of people in the black community. Like I said, individualism and also in the community. That's why a lot of us can sit here and be like, we know it. And even some people in other races know it too. Because sometimes people try to show certain ethnicities or their other ethnicities that they have when it's convenient to them. The Rock did it. And it made him one of the most successful wrestlers that transitioned to one of the most successful actors. And I'm not even sitting here saying he got to denounce his Samoan heritage because that's how he was raised. I'm not even mad at that. It's just how you pick and choose certain things. Y'all putting Oba in that situation because he said 3 people inspired him to dream big without listening to what he said about his mom, his dad, his pastor, and other people. Y'all just roll with that part. Horrible. It's Wusa. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Wusa Kev. Wusa Kev. The man is 27, and we sit here talking about the village. Oh, we don't have a village anymore. This is why we don't have a village. Because everybody's throwing stones, and they got glass houses. I'm not saying Oba has a glass house. Y'all, the people that is talking bad and saying he don't count as a black wrestler and all of this other stuff, y'all have glass houses. And when the rocks get thrown at y'all house, now y'all got GoFundMe's. Now y'all victims. Now I was just telling my opinion. Now this and that. And then people give their opinion and you don't like it. Now you attacked. Now you deactivate Twitters and stuff. And like I said, I've spoken about the Ricochet situation a couple of days ago. I've spoken about it. I said that, Ricochet has said some controversial stuff ever since he's left WWE. He has. And even the lady who said the stuff about the MS, she talked about his acting. She didn't talk about how he looked. She didn't say he was bald, unless somebody can show it to me. She didn't really say his look. She said his acting. I don't like Ricochet's acting. And then for him to say what he said was horrible. Now it was to the fact that poured on to his wife. Now his wife hasn't really had crazy takes and stuff. She said stuff and entertained some things. And I don't think that even though he said something that horrible to that woman, that the death threats and saying certain things to him and his wife, I don't think that that's needed. I don't think that that's needed or whatever. But what we're not going to do at the same time is we're not going to sit here and act like Ricochet don't be igniting stuff sometimes. Like we talked about how he said that El Generico was more of a legacy character than Sami Zayn. Like we've talked about that kind of stuff before. And like I said, I don't want to shift from Oba's situation more than anything, but that's just what it is on how so many people got comments and they got all of this stuff. Like I said, that's not the worst thing I've seen people tweet about Ricochet, about his acting being horrible. So I don't think that, honestly, it was warranted. And then you also represent the company that you wrestle for. Y'all not going to understand. And when I say y'all, I keep saying that because I don't want people to just be like, I'm just saying everybody. But even if you are off work, if you're still employed, you represent that company. You represent that company still. You can have your off time, you grown, you can do whatever you want, but you still represent that company as long as you're employed by that company. Your family, when you leave the house, for the most part, especially if you're a child, you represent that family. I had to talk to my son about that. I'm like, you do represent us. How we raise you and how we prepare you for the world and stuff like that, and how you act out there. I don't want to say it's a full representation of us, but you are supposed to be a mirror of a representation of what it is. If we treat you bad and all of that stuff, you may be bad. That's your decision at the end of the day. Or even if we treat you good and you decide to be bad, that is your decision, but you still represent the family that you come from. You may not like it, and they may be been horrible people and stuff like that, and I do hope that you get the positives out of it, right? Take the oats out of the marshmallows or the Lucky Charms. The oats are more healthier, but the Lucky Charms taste better, right? But how you decide, you still are a reflection of that, because some people want to be a personal honor. Like, I want to make my parents proud. I think that's one of the biggest things that I hold to my heart when my parents said that they were proud of me. Not sitting here saying I agree with everything that they told me to do and how they treated me with certain situations or whatever, but they were parents for the first time too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like they was doing this for years and stuff like that. So I still love them and care for them and talk to them, but I want to make them proud. Heck, step further, when we make it with C3 and stuff, everybody in C3 and stuff, I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of everybody. That's just how I am. You know what I'm saying? But still, people want you to be how they want you to be, which is so weird. Just let people be. And that's how I feel. It's like, keep politics out of wrestling, but you bring in politics in wrestling. That's the irony of this situation. Like, she's interviewing Oba about him, not the black community. Him. She's interviewing him about who he looks up to. And people are like, oh, well, y'all saw how Stephanie was looking at him. She was asking a question. Read the room. Stop trying to read people. Read the room sometimes. Read the room. Read the room. Read the room. I just want us to just get it together. We just got to get it together. It's okay to think as an individual. What may be good for the community may not be good for the individual. That happens. Some people leave. Some people change. Those kind of things happen. And for people to just be so bent out of shape because Oba looked up to 3 people, inspired by 3 people. He was inspired by 6 or 7 people, but the fact that it's 3 people that you don't like, y'all took away the spirit of the Black Panther. Now y'all not excited to see him face Brock Lesnar. Now y'all just upset because, we go through so much stuff. And I'm not trying to make light on that. I'm just not. But what I'm not going to do and what I don't raise my kids is to act like victims because we were victims and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? We got a chance to fight back. And sometimes you also have to learn how to pick your battles. Every battle is not meant to be fought. Sometimes you have to walk away. Yielding is not a sign of weakness. Sometimes going that violent approach and going loud is a sign of weakness because you want to be seen. You want to be heard. Sometimes you cannot change people. And we've come into this culture, in this community, in this state, this country of somebody is literally saying the evil stuff out of their mind, and they really mean this with all of their heart, and you just want them to apologize for the sake of apologizing, knowing dang well they are horrible. They're still going to be horrible. But you took the Band-Aid over the laceration approach by just making them apologize so you can go back to the stores that they owned or the establishments that they built and stuff like that. And I'll say this too. What's his name? Donald Sterling, the dude who used to own the Clippers. Vile stuff, horrible human that he said, but he kept himself. He kept to being himself. They still interviewed him after that, and he, honestly, he kept himself. And I'm not going to sit here and say I praise him for how he thought in his thought process and stuff like that, but still, what did Maya Angelou said? If someone shows you who they are, believe them. So, off a small thing of who he look up to, he MAGA. Y'all killing me, man. Y'all killing me. What do you think or believe doesn't affect my turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese on roll with an orange in the side? Oh, y'all laughing at my Maya Angelou impersonation? Stop. Y'all stop, man. Stop. Plus, he not the same as we are. So, just saying, man. It's horrible because it's easy. It's so easy, but people make it difficult. It makes it so difficult. These are the same people who talk about, there's no black representation, no black wrestling companies. I have C3. I promoted it more as family friendly, but hey, they got Ashe. They got a whole bunch of stuff. Black Wrestlers Matter was a big thing a couple years ago. You have a lot of companies that give y'all what y'all be asking for, but it's not enough to y'all. Y'all want the ones on TV to give y'all what y'all want. And then y'all get more upset when they don't give y'all what y'all want. To the fact that when they do give you what you want it how you want it. And if it's not good, then they don't represent us no more. Who the president of the black community? Who said you was the president? You speak for everybody. You don't speak for me. Y'all can't make me hate Oba. Y'all can't make me hate Booker T. I don't care. Booker T is loyal to the company that pays him, that helps him feed his family, helps him do his stuff for his company. A lot of people do that in any company, regardless if it's a bad stuff that's going on. A lot of people are not going to go on a public space and talk bad about the company that they work for because they don't want to get fired. I know a lot of people do get online and be like, I quit my job, but they fired me because of my attitude. But most of the time, you showing us why they fired you at the end of the day. You showed us why they fired you at the end of the day because of your attitude and stuff. It's horrible. 45 minutes. We've been talking for 45 minutes. I mean, ranting. Y'all know. I be trying to speak for like 15, 16 minutes. We broke a record today. And I might go live today, tomorrow or later today. It just depends. I'm not saying no but over, y'all. I'm about to, hopefully he wins. Hopefully he becomes the new big bad. The new big bad. At only 27. You know, Brock and, Randy was 20 something. They was in their 20s and stuff. They were more in their like early 20s. He's in his later 20s at being like 27. But still, sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit. It's definitely a bigger topic. And like I said, I try to speak more on wrestling on this channel. And it's funny because when I speak about Christ and God, I remember a lot of people used to say, "Oh man, I ain't here to talk about Jesus. I'm here to hear about wrestling." I'm like, look, man, if you can muster a minute and be speaking about my Lord and Savior, but at the same time, you can also fast forward it if it's not alive. You can mute it. You have all kind of stuff. But still, I try to just keep it strictly wrestling. But sometimes I do think outside of the box when it comes to certain things. Because me being a wrestler of color, a promoter of color with my family, despite the fact of us falling out and stuff, we do have things and trials and tribulations that we overcome, that we go through, but we also have triumph and success that we go through. Like C3 is climbing up with certain things. More people are speaking about it. We get more sponsors. We having more opportunities, and I thank the Lord for that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and just try to group what I went through or what we go through or what Kev goes through. I'm not trying to group all of that together with everybody else because it may be different from somebody else's. Come on now. Because they say no to politics, but then bring it right back in, especially. And that's the problem. Wrestling, video games, books. Sometimes people try to escape real world issues. But when you bring the real world issues into the things that you escape, that's why people get mad. Marvel should be making billions of dollars. I'm about to be done, but still, Marvel should be making billions of dollars. I emphasize that B. I want y'all to know that billions is supposed to have a capital B. Billions of dollars in the box office. But politics came in. Let's change this person's orientation. Let's change this person's color. Let's do this. Let's retcon this. Let's change this. Let's kill this person off. No, we don't want to do this and all that. Y'all had success with Guardians of the Galaxy. Y'all had success with Guardians of the Galaxy. Y'all try to use DEI and all of that, and I'm sorry, it's the truth. Y'all try to use it for Eternals, and it was trash. DEI Eternals. I think that's what Arshawn said it. And it was trash. It was a trash movie. It wasn't even that good. Then try to say Thanos was an Eternal. But then y'all was saying that the Eternals was clones. I don't know the story of the Eternals personally on the comic books, but at the same time, I'm not interested in it. But a lot of people were saying they changed a lot of stuff in it. The Marvels, y'all made the movie with the 3 women, and y'all thought that people was going to go see it. When y'all knew that Brie Larson was somebody that a lot of people didn't like, unfortunately. And then y'all was trying to make her the alleged leader of the Avengers, and it didn't work. So what y'all do? Y'all put her with 2 other women. And then one of them, shout out to Tiana, I think that's her name. She was dope. But I knew it was cringy when I saw the trailer, and Nick Fury was trying to tell her to fly. And she said, "I don't know how to fly." He said, "Black girl magic." I was like, you know what? The movie wasn't that good. I watched it. It wasn't that good. Like, y'all, come on, man. Y'all were the leaders of the stuff with superheroes, and y'all messed it up bad. And y'all didn't have to, because y'all added politics to it. There will never be a stuff like Endgame and Infinity War. It's never going to be like that. A lot of people are going to watch the Doomsday movie, right? We're going to watch it. I'm probably going to watch it and don't care about no backstory. Just want to see Robert Downey Jr. back. Just want to see Chris Evans back. Just want to see certain things. I don't think there's any Marvel movie that's coming out this year. Spider-Man movie, but that's more Sony than Marvel, but still. I'm trying to think. Is there another movie that Marvel coming out with? I don't know. But still, 50 minutes we talking about this stuff. But I'm saying, still, still, I don't know. But speaking of comics, I did find the Dakota incident. If you guys know about comics and stuff like that, with like Static, with Icon, with Hardware and stuff like that, and Rocket, it was Milestone Comics, and Milestone Comics was a black comic company. Shout out to Dwayne. I think it's McDuffie. I think his name is McDuffie. If you don't know who he is, and forgive me, I think it is Dwayne McDuffie. He was the guy that also, him and his people that created Static Shock, or Static. It's called Static, but people called him Static Shock because of the show. But Static and Icon. Like when people say they want a black Superman, we have Icon, which is an alien that basically transformed to a black American, basically, in the slave times and stuff like that. Took the form of a black woman son, basically. And it's a good story. It's a good story. We don't need a black Superman. Just have Icon. But Dwayne also was responsible for Ben 10. I know a lot of people loved Ben 10 and stuff like that, and he wrote for Justice League, which I will say, I watched Justice League when I was older, and I will say Justice League and Justice League Unlimited was some of the best cartoons I've watched as far as superheroes are concerned. The writing and everything was good. So rest in peace to Dwayne. But man, that dude is a part of not only just black history with comics, but just history in general, man, because that man was cold. But still, I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave y'all. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. I'm curious to see what's going to happen tonight. I'm not saying Noba to Oba. Get ready for 20. I got these printed. Excuse the gloss. It's cheap. But I got the QR code. I'm going to be passing out flyers and everything. It's about to be a big show. It's about to be a big celebration for C3, for C3's history. And despite the fact that my heart is broken with everything that is going on, it's time to have some fun. It's definitely trying to do some stuff. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Kev. Appreciate you, Enya. I don't expect this live to get crazy, but honestly, if you do know somebody that does feel a certain way about it, send them here to this live, or tell them to leave a comment, and we'll talk about it. Because I'm probably going to go to my Facebook, Chris Classic Williams on Facebook, and probably make a post about it, because to me, it does make my blood boil a little bit. I think that it's unfair that y'all saying this and y'all just assuming it. Like, and even if he does say he's MAGA, so what? I thought we was watching wrestling. I remember when Roman said he voted for Trump, basically, and he's a follower of Christ. I believe he's Catholic. Y'all ain't had that smoke for him like that. Y'all wasn't that upset. Y'all was upset. Like, look, y'all was upset. But y'all wasn't that upset as y'all are of Oba to trying to take away Oba's skin color from him. But still, let me know what you guys think. Thank you, Enya. Thank you, Kev. Shout out to everybody that's on this live. I hope you guys and gals have a blessed day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.